Give up. And one here.
Or FFA, former FFA Jim Burgers to come back and help with man.
That's great.
Yeah.
Be one spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm worried that one of these days he's gonna get my gold for the papers. Break up the thing. No, it's a big cost, so all those sides and then he's eager. When I get those hours, they make it too far to the jobs up here. No, two little, the name will chase squirrels. So it's
Sign first.
good. For black rating. They just went out some. Somebody will.
No.
You have to walk them every day.
Oh. Yeah, yeah. I think
Take that camper at his house and.
He's did a nice job with the music. Jam, oh, yeah, yeah. He was a gangster with.
Are you running it today?
I am.
Okay.
Ready? We'll call this meeting to order at 5:30. Roll call from handing up.
President Dr. Schroed, Vice President Yeager, here, Board Member Kabrick,
Here.
Board Member Fox,
Here.
Board Member Mack.
Here.
A reading of the district mission vision statement from Bruce Kabrick.
Our mission to challenge all students to achieve their full potential through engaging, responsive educational experiences that inspire innovation, critical thinking, and collaboration. Our vision to develop learners who are competent, passionate problem solvers.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda, like pull letters D and E out of the vendor agreements of the consent agenda and move them to 9A of the new business action items, since we have them here to present.
Okay, I'll second.
Any discussion? Approved. Have a motion to approve the consent agenda. All right. Yeah. Oh, any public visitors comments? No. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'm making my favorite that's.
I'll second. First one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Any committee report?
Yes, please.
Any committee report?
Go ahead.
Policy met on Friday, the 4th. Right, Friday the 1st. The policies here today for first reading are attached. And Bruce is up for facility.
We
Go
met,
up to the microphone.
Yeah. we met for facilities. We talked about the findings from Modus. They are attached here. They kind of broke it down into prices for each stage that we asked and then went above and beyond. Jerry was very pleased with the amount of work they did do. They went the extra mile to help us with some things. And it gave us a chance to look at the grand scheme of things and where we're at to make those repairs if we want to do it systematically or try and do it in one big lump sum type approach with a bond or Dr. Knight's been looking at some other options of finances we have set aside. So it could be roughly in the $3 million range, I think, to do all the things that we had them look at. To get the major high priority mechanicals from the air handlers and the boilers and all those things wrapped up. They also went a little farther in looking at the sewer system and some of that stuff. Then we also discussed bus pay comparison between some of the local areas, trying to help look at our options for getting activity drivers and bus drivers, things of that nature. Since it's been a struggle to get more, we evaluated a couple of options, and one of those was to allow overtime again for some of our staff that are here all day to be able to drive at night, because there are a handful that go anyway, and would be happy to take that on. So with the cost comparison, it was almost a no-brainer. We were either gonna have to raise our rates to $30 an hour to try and find activity drivers and make a nightmare on bookkeeping side, or give this opportunity to some of our staff that are here and dedicated and want to do it. So we're gonna try that. Outside of that, it was the.
Lincoln, we decided.
Oh, and we did decide to install the gates at Lincoln because we've had numerous reports from the police department, neighbors, and all different kinds of things that result in groups of students of multiple different ages, but they're getting reported for causing disturbances for the neighbors, being loud, vulgar, inappropriate, and it's going.
What are they gating?
We've gated all the entrances to the playground.
So those are
all
open up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been open.
So that's where the student, that's where we were noticing people hanging out in that playground.
Correct. And then it went so far as they're finding a way to get on the roof. They've damaged things on the roof. They've left things like alcohol bottles and graffiti and everything else up on our roofs, caused other issues to be broken. So at this time, for the protection of the school and the kids, we put gates up.
Is that the only way to get on the roof is through the playground?
So there may be, we're looking at maybe a low cost solution to one of the other areas where they may be climbing up in the front. Jerry is
there
working on.
External cameras. In that space?
They need to be improved. They're able to see that they're students in a relative age, but they can't see who they are, things of that nature. So Jerry was looking at the finances to do that as well.
So the gates have been.
Yep, the gates are there, but it sounds, according to the wild web, that it's not completely working. They've seen students climb on the dumpster to get over the brick wall in and students.
Yes, so we've ordered signage, and then when signage is up, then the next department.
Once we have that,
That's like a thing you can.
once the gate's closed and we
Yeah.
put signage up,
Yeah.
it becomes trespassing, and then they can prosecute. When you leave the gates open, it's a public space. We can't do anything of that nature.
Okay, all right, let's circle back to the motives. So they gave that very detailed report. Was there any indication as to like? You alluded to the financing, that's still up in the air. Is there any indication of like what level of like remodeling would need to do to get access to those systems? Do you know what I'm saying? Like to get into those air conditioning units, to get into the HVAC systems?
I'd have to ask a little closer question for it, I guess. I didn't
That
follow
conversation
this
or
part.
not. But it's like the 3 million would just be for the HVAC systems, not like. Oh, we'd have to pull down the ceiling tiles to get to the HVAC system, so at that point.
This would be all inclusive. Their estimates are based on completing that project, each stage of each project. So they've got it broke down.
In some of the places it talks about demo,
Yeah.
and then
replacing of new material.
Yep, page 10 and 11.
So I guess the other question would be about maintenance, piping still wasn't even looked at, so we're talking about putting air conditioning, which is great, but then the plumbing and stuff that's still there, and what does that look like? And then I think the other question is that just the overall way the buildings are laid out, is it conducive to the way that teaching is done, in the 21st century compared to its construction in the late 1960s.
Yes. We didn't talk about.
Yeah, those are more important questions we don't have answers.
Right, I mean, we have not talked about any of the aesthetic options yet. This is just making sure this system works, and then we can move on.
That's one piece of it, just air conditioning. And some heating, obviously.
And the nice thing about the HVAC pieces is if sometime down the road, something else wanted to be done, those would transfer. Those are new enough that they would work. And stuff.
So at some point we tore down the circles, it wouldn't be, money wouldn't be wasted.
That's right. I was gonna say it. So yes, that is actually very direct and exactly, yes, to the point. Yes. Yep.
So what was left with next steps? So following facilities. For this modus project.
So we're at the point now that I think between discussions with finance committee and facilities committee, we hope to come to the next meeting with a presentation with Jerry and a plan of what options we could have, whether it's using money that's set in, say,
Right, yes, the safe has,
And-
funds.
some extra funds there, or if we want to go ask for a community vote or bond, and if that's so, if we need to include other things, but as of right now, they've got it laid out in a matter of an annual budget of 400,000 each year in that way. And then when you see the numbers, it's like 3 million.
It's like 3.2, but if you do 400, that's basically one a year,
Right,
or almost a decade.
correct. That's why we're saying, now that you have a full scope of what it takes to,
But that's again, one aspect of it, that doesn't include any of the pipeline, or any of the teaching mechanisms. Or anything like that. That's just,
I'm not sure what you mean by piping.
so like the plumbing and that. Right? There's been a lot of talk that it's collapsed in the floor, or it doesn't work right, or it's not as good. So, and I think you said that when you started, that they didn't go through that process.
They did look at some of the sewer, they did look at the electrical services,
They did.
yes.
So I don't see on here where they talk about anything that need to be addressed in that.
The electrical is number 6.
Right, yeah, the electrical, I'm just talking about.
And they're-
plumbing.
I have to go back and look for exactly the page. I can get it to you, but they did discuss some of it. They went a little further in looking at the art room and some of the play stuff, play trap stuff.
Kitchen hood is people, it's life expectancy.
That's being replaced anyway.
Okay.
We've already moved forward with our kitchen renovation plan.
That's on there.
And like the sewer systems and some of that is being evaluated by local contractors like McGage or Mills or something like that. We could save some money to go through them. And go from there. They
So
can-
that assessment is ongoing.
To my understanding, like I said, I hope to have more with Jerry on that. For the next meeting. Because once we saw these numbers, then we knew, okay. If we're at that 3 million to do all that in one big shebang project type thing. But we need to look, like Josh said, going the extra step. If you're gonna do it, do you want to do it while you're at it, asking for funding, or do you want to break it up?
And the company that helps support us is that Piper Stanley.
Yeah.
And and so they said we do have currently have saved capacity, so we wouldn't necessarily have to go as long as we have the enough support in the Pebble, because we have a voter approved Pebble and a board approved Pebble. As long as we have enough support there still to do the day-to-day maintenance. And so Jerry looked at his budget and he thought that we could live within that. And then actually the middle school bond, then it starts to drop off before 19, actually a little bit, it starts to drop off significantly, before 29.
I think it's 28 or 29.
Yeah, but the year before it's done, it actually starts to drop like 400,000. And so there's more capacity. And so you could, bond against the save, 6-year bond, if the board's interested in that, and then do these projects much sooner.
How much would that be?
A 6-year bond?
Yeah, what would be the max per year? Or what would be the max you could get from that?
I'm still getting those numbers from them on that, and so it's a little preliminary, but yes, it's a better rate than, you can get commercially.
Which would allow us to not have to go for.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to go to the voters,
No
no.
tax
no.
increase.
But we'd want to definitely talk about. Yeah.
So it sounds like the next meeting, we'll be hearing more details on status of systems in the district and the financing.
Yeah, we can do that. Or would you rather we do it the first meeting in December, since that's the organizational meeting and the regular meeting? Is December okay?
Well, why wouldn't we do it on the next meeting if it's ready?
I have to make sure Jerry can have it already. He was working on putting together the plan for this portion. If you wanted to go further for that stuff, I can.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good to get it kind of conversation started as soon as possible. Because there's a lot to talk about. We're not going to make any decision on that day. It's just there's a lot of information and got some time to look at it.
Yeah, so I really had a great opportunity going to the play to see some of our star actors, and some are in the audience here tonight helping us out. Did a great job in the musical, and so lots of really talented singers, and so that was really enjoyable. I had a chance to dust off my principal chops again and sub in the elementary schools last week, so that was fun. Getting to see our youngest learners doing well, and so then I also had a chance to work on our 5-year projection, and I shared some of that with the finance committee, that it does look like with our solvency rate being so high, we're going to have probably 4 years of gradually lowering of our tax rate, which is very exciting. A voter perspective and the community perspective, to have a gradually decreasing tax rate is a real positive place to be. And we have adequate financing to put that in, to make that happen. Because once we hit a certain solvency rate, we can no longer levy for cash anymore. So those are some real positive things, that we're in a good place on that, and be able to share more on our finances with the whole group.
Business. Hear from the high school robotics team
Skills USA.
and the Skills USA.
Hi there.
Hi.
Good evening. We just have a few things to talk about. We are here to talk about Skills USA tonight, and kind of what it is for those of you that don't know or have never heard of Skills USA. Just kind of go into just a little bit of everything with it. So I am Jesse White, the high school industrial tech teacher, and I'll let the rest of these guys introduce themselves.
I'm Edward Schmidt, I'm the president of Skills USA. I'm gonna be White, I'm the junior, and I'm the secretary.
I'm Xavier Scott. I'm a current senior, and I serve as the vice president.
I'm Dan Bolin, I'm the other industrial tech teacher. And we'll get right into it on our slide. Go to our second one. So our mission with Skills USA is Skills USA is America's proud champion of the skilled trades. Mission statement is to empower students to become skilled professionals career-ready leaders and responsible community members. Some Skills USA values include integrity, respect, responsibility, and service. Our vision is to produce the world's most skilled workforce. On the next slide. So,
Skills USA is recognized as a critical part of preparing a competitive U.S. workforce. This program focuses on leadership development, professional training, and community service, helping students not only become skilled in other trades, but also develop communication, teamwork, and problem-solving skills essential for their career success.
Today, Skills USA serves over 372,000 members annually, including students and teachers across the U.S. It offers students the chance to improve their personal, workplace, and technical skills grounded in academics. Through a network of local, state, and national chapters, Skills USA connects students with employers, helping them be work-ready upon graduation.
We go to the next slide. It's our history. The history of Skills USA goes back to 1965. It actually jumps back a little bit before that. But in 1965, it was founded as VICA, which was Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. And then after about 35 years, they added Skills USA, and then shortly after that, it dumped out the VICA part and it just became Skills USA. When it started out, it had just over 200 members in 1965 that from 14 different states that competed. Now the competition sits in Atlanta, Georgia, every summer, and houses somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 students for the national competitions. So, speaking of competitions, back in April, we took some students. We took 10 students to the state competition as our first time going, and just kind of figuring out what the competition was all about. And we've never been there before, and we had a fairly small crew that we took that were willing to tread the waters with us a little bit. And of those students, we were able to get a silver medal for teamwork. So it was a group of 4 students building what you see there with the wall, and so it's a construction competition, and then a bronze for diesel tank.
the construction also integrated plumbing into it. So they did a PVC pipe and PEX in there that possibly could have did masonry work and electrical, but they left that out at the state level. But at the national level, I think they would have all 4 of those in there. Top left picture, there's a welding fabrication team of 3. There was a welding visual competition. There was a sculpture competition as well. We had students compete in all those besides the diesel. Good on that slide.
So, let's see.
Last month.
Was the 28th and 29th of October, we took a group of 6, this group of 6, down to Boone for the National Leadership Conference. Basically, take some of the officers of your chapter and go at the conference and learn how to be better leaders and how to just be able to advance your chapter into a more productive, yes, that'd be good.
Sure. And as some of the other instructors talked about, Iowa kind of lacks at this department of it at the national level because we are kind of newer to it. So this is one thing we want to stress is it's not just, we excel at the technical side of it, but we want to get better, well-rounded. Okay, so or the leadership side, the communication, talking, presenting, So they get to learn how to put a resume together, how to lead a meeting, how to conduct a meeting. So it's good for them to learn that side of it too, rather than just the competition side, the hands-on.
So this next slide is all about our impact, what our impact would be for students and for the community itself. And the biggest thing is, you know, it covers everything you see on that slide. Your career readiness, your travel, kids get to go places they don't normally get to go. We spend a lot of time in our classrooms themselves, actually working on some career readiness, doing stuff with actual careers, talking about careers. And these are things that we normally do anyway, but now we have more of a purpose to kind of push this a little bit so that students know this stuff.
Skilled workforce pipeline. Skills USA provides students with a hands-on training in various industries, equipping them with technical skills and soft skills by partnering with businesses can connect with these well-prepared students, creating a reliable pipeline of skilled workers who meet industry standards.
Good. So just expand on that a little bit. Gabe Noble won to do the diesel competition last year. We're not teaching autos or diesel, but he felt confident that he knew his stuff and thought it sounded fun. That's how he said it. It sounded fun, like a fun competition to get into. So with Skills USA, we could be able to partner him up with a local business, maybe give him a little bit more training, you know, a little bit more knowledge that we can help him with. So that's kind of what we want to do there. And then this Wednesday, we are going to local businesses. I want to get that, but we're going to take a group. I'm going to take group 5. Mr. White's going to take group 5, and we're got 7 businesses each to get into on Wednesday. So next.
For sponsorship or to like students
Just
work.
to let them know about everything, just what we're talking about here, let them know what Skills USA is, yes, partnerships, everything, field trips, having them come talk to us. Yeah. Getting that door open for local businesses, which hasn't been done before. Well, it's a long time ago, but recently.
So customized training and development. Businesses can influence the curriculum and training focuses of Skills USA programs, ensuring that the students are learning skills that align with current industry needs. This leads to new hires who are better prepared and require less onboarding.
All right, me being a new teacher, I go to school to be a teacher, so a lot of my curriculum is just helped out, I guess, with some of the other teachers, Mr. White, Mr. Spurgeon, Mr. Lumberg when he was here. But after my first year during the summer, Chris Garden talked to me about, don't worry about making them such perfect welders, teach them how to read a tape measure. So that's where I want to get these local businesses, like pick their brains, kind of like, what do you guys need your employers to know that we can integrate it into our classes, not just Skills USA part of it, but everything we're teaching here. So.
Community engagement and brand visibility. Partnerships allow businesses to demonstrate a commitment to education and community development, enhancing their reputation as socially responsible organizations. Engaging with Skills USA events, competitions, and mentorship opportunities raises brand awareness and establishes the company as a leader in workforce development.
But part of that one, just kind of expand on a little bit. We'll talk about it more as we get down towards the bottom here. But one of the big things we want to do is kind of get ourselves out there in the community as well, not just going into businesses, but you see a lot of chapters. They'll go out and they'll spend the time doing community service work, and that's one big piece that I like is just being able to get out and engage with community members and help out in our community, make things a whole lot better. for our community as a whole, so. The next piece on here is our networking opportunities, and as we mentioned, we are gonna go out to businesses on Wednesday. And Mr. Boland spent a lot of time on the phone the last couple of weeks, just making those phone calls to different businesses and setting up times or talking to people, and just the networking piece of it. So that we can get those people into our classrooms. Because when you sit down with a student and say, hey, what do you want to do? And they say construction, then you ask the follow-up, what kind? And they just look at you blankly of, isn't it all the same? But it's not all the same. Or I want to do welding. Well, what kind of welding? There's lots of different kinds. So we want to get business leaders in and be able to talk to them and give them lots of options. So it's not just one narrow path. They get a broad range of what's actually out there for them to work on. So through that, businesses can connect with us, they can connect with students, and which potentially could be their future employees. So.
And to just expand on that a little bit, well, I've been on the phone talking to our businesses, when we go into them, Mr. White's been working on, a folder that we're putting together with 16 pages roughly. So we will leave a folder with each business, so then they can look through it, show other employees, you know, what Skills USA is about and what we're trying to accomplish here. Last one is employees who volunteer as mentors, judges, or trainers for Skills USA often improve their own leadership, teaching, and communication skills, contributing to more engaged and capable workforce. In short, partnering with Skills USA chapters helps businesses support future talent, influence industry standards, and gain positive visibility in their communities. You guys have any questions for us?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
When did Skills USA start in Charles City?
Last year.
Oh, wow, you guys have better.
Yeah,
How many students are in the program?
how many students show up or how many students are in there?
I guess that's in both questions.
We.
Or how did they go about getting into it and then,
If they're in either one of our classes, or if they're in robotics, or if they have an interest in any of the competitions or anything, then they can join. It is, we usually average about 20 students on a typical advisory Thursday where we invite them all.
that's weekly?
Every other week.
Every other week.
Every other week.
And is that for all grades can join it, or does it have
Yes.
to be upper class?
No, all grades.
We have roughly 30 that signed up.
Yeah.
And was it the same last year too?
Yeah, I think we had 33
I
last
think
year.
we had 33 last year. And we took 10 up to the competition.
And then what are the different areas that you focus on? I know you guys mentioned like construction, welding, diesel.
Yeah,
There are
180
different
competitions at the national level, but at the state, because it covers business, ag.
a little bit of SES and, but for Charles City, the way this all came about is, the state of Iowa, about 5 years ago, put out that they're going to start requiring a chapter, if there's a business teacher, they're required to have a DECA or FBLA. If there's an industrial tech program, they're required to have Skills USA, or I can't remember the name of the other one, but they're required to have a CPSO chapter for all of them, and that was required to start this year.
Oh,
And
This came
so-
from the state.
This came from the state. And so Mr. Boland and I talked 2 years ago and said, let's just get started. And we don't want it to just be 3 or 4 students. We want to, if we're gonna do it, we wanna do it right and do it well. And so we decided, we spent a lot of time last fall talking through what's it gonna look like and how it's going to work and how it's going to kind of flow. And then we just kind of jumped in a little bit.
Do districts have to pay for the resources that you guys get? How does that work? We don't know.
Well,
Cause like, is it like a member, like I'm just thinking of like National Honor Society, you have to pay like dues or whatever.
We have, each one of these guys and our goal is not to ever have any students have to pay for it. But we have state dues and we have national dues that we have to pay. And, I think for students, it's a total of $16 a piece. And for, Mr. Boland and I, it's $30.
Gotcha.
So,
So it sounds like to the skill level, there's a lot of businesses, it's not just the construction businesses, but the one. So I guess the
Right.
follow-up to that is how would a business in the area get connected with you guys?
So, we wrote a letter.
Mhm.
We sent that out to them.
Mhm.
And what the businesses that did respond, like we talked about earlier, Roland called them, had a conversation with them where they'd like to come meet, distribute.
Sure.
We're thinking about starting like a Facebook page, put our emails, our phone number on there.
So would it be best to contact you guys as students or teachers from like an outside business?
Well, this is a student-led organization. But,
Yeah,
I don't work. We're the beginning.
You're the go-between.
Quite a bit.
As I, their emails are on public district websites, so they're
Yeah.
easier to
But
find.
yes, both.
both of
They're
them.
willing.
I've entered a couple emails.
You see it becoming like a co-op type situation where the kids would go, like maybe work part of the day for these businesses, or is that still a thing? Or could it be?
It has potential.
They used to do that when I was in high school, like you
Yeah.
would go half a day to school and then half a day you could go work.
You
I
still
don't
have
know
some-
if that's.
we still have that.
still a thing.
Yes, we do.
That's started the MOC program. But this
Is that
is,
kind of what you're? Or if they,
I don't
if the
think that's-
business was interested or no?
part of what our goal is to get kids just introduced to the different businesses. So for instance, I had a group of freshmen in my class the other day and I asked them about, what are you interested in? And I had 3 of them mention auto mechanics. I said, well, we can't do that here. But through Skills USA, we can set you up with somebody to talk about what
Like a job shadowing type of
Yeah.
thing?
job type of thing, what it looks like to be an auto mechanic. And then I asked the question, how many of you have ever changed oil in a car, or opened the hood up in a car? No, done anything, so, and I said, it's part of it is, not just that, but it's more of getting them on the right path, so that if they do want to be an auto mechanic, they've had some time with the mechanic to see if that's what they actually want to do. Because we don't want to spend the next 4 years welding, and then they get out to a welding place and this isn't for me. But we want them to talk to people who actually do it and be able to spend that time with them.
The group that was gonna present last time, the CAPS program, they do have some students doing apprenticeships right now in the community for credit.
Right.
Sounds like a good program to help with guidance into our new career center, the NIAC Center too.
Yeah.
Can you hit on real quick your fundraiser you're requesting, just so we know? We've read it, but you're gonna do a fundraiser, you're looking for a one fundraiser, correct?
The one
Yeah.
we filled out is through local businesses.
Yeah, just the general businesses, talking to them, partnerships and whether that could be financial or just, what we talked about already of coming into the classroom, so.
Who's the fundraiser document? I haven't seen it.
That's not a good idea. Okay.
Well, I don't know, that's that time too.
Thank you guys.
That's fine. You good? Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have just a couple.
Yeah.
From a learning perspective, is there, I don't know if grades or ranges or what you would call it, where, like if you're a person, like you gave a great example, so it's a student who wants to learn auto mechanics or what it might be like, but has never done that, right? So they would be a novice or first year, level 1, whatever, I don't know what you would call it. But then you had a gentleman who said, hey, I think I could go at nationals and I could do auto mechanic and diesel, right? But we've never done anything with him. So maybe he has a higher skill level. So is there a way to grade their skills and ability when they enter into that, or does everybody start at the same place?
Are you asking if they get graded for this?
No, no, I'm asking, so when they go.
So you're saying like at state competition?
Sure, we say, well, just in general, so what we see is like if a student goes and they take a class and the class is really easy for them, they lose interest, and sometimes then they have poor grades, right? Because they're not interested in doing their work. If a student gets excited and takes one of these classes, but they're like, oh, this is really remedial to me, it's very simple, and they get disinterested, how do we ensure that we're challenging them at the level they're at?
For Skills USA, they're all basically at an advanced level. But we're going to a competition that's not through Skills USA. There's a beginning level welder competition, there's an advanced welder competition, so.
Okay, so it sounds like there's some, like in that.
Yeah. I guess as far as Skills USA goes, it's everyone's. They're one of the best of the best, you know, make it a national, so.
Sounds like your program is above and beyond the classroom. It's
Right.
where you fall short in the classroom, Skills USA picks up the
Right.
slack. Help you find that avenue for the kid who does want to find an apprenticeship as a diesel mechanic or something.
It sounds like a fantastic program. The other question I ask is if they're doing those trades, you know, building trades or electrical work, could somebody teach them how to do billing? So that when they send you an invoice, it's accurate for the work, and so when they give you an estimate, it's accurate too. I mean, is that possible? Like, could you put that as feedback in?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Actually, we did
Bring the bills to part of
me and
the
Andrew did a building competition. There was a piece where we had to read a blueprint.
Yep.
And we had to go give a presentation in a classroom setting about what steps we would take to build the building, which this happened on the second day. It was supposed to happen before we even built the building. So we basically had to explain what materials we were gonna use for what, how we were gonna build the building and kind of give.
So like talking to your
Yeah.
customer, kind of.
Yeah, so like talking to the customer.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like I
Sounds
said,
like
they had to put a resume together,
Yeah.
they had to take a test, a 50-question test before it. Which I don't think was graded, it was just. Did it not, I got the points for it, right?
Yeah.
So,
If we would have, if they would have made it to the nationals and got gold instead of silver, the test questions would have actually sort of raised them to a different level.
That's awesome, guys.
So to get to the national one, you had to get a gold.
Yes.
Well, we were technically runners up, if the team ahead of us would have, I wanted to go for some reason, would have.
take the next position. Right. And then second place wouldn't go, they take third place, but after
Right.
that.
After that, they just didn't say anything. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
For your time.
Just new business.
Yeah, just give me a rubber.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve both the high school robotics team fundraising
Engineer.
and high school Skills USA.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Moving on to new business. We have a motion to approve the personnel report.
I'll make a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. We need a motion for the public hearing flexibility account.
We do.
We have a motion to approve the public hearing flexibility account. Should I read it?
Please.
This hearing is on a resolution to expend funds from the district's flexibility account for general fund expenditures. These funds in the amount of $169,618.43 were unexpended and obligated from homeschool assistance program, professional development, and teacher leadership supplement.
I'll make a motion to approve the public hearing flexibility account.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Should I read the resolution?
Yeah, please.
Whereas Iowa Code provides school districts with greater flexibility to transfer eligible funds to other specified purposes, whereas the board, in consultation with its community through a public hearing with notice by the board, passing a public hearing date on November 11th, 2024, as prescribed by the Iowa Department of Education, has determined that excess funds in the flexibility account shall be transferred to general funds to provide the best quality education for the students of the school district. And whereas the board proposes to use $169,618.43 from the flexibility account, which came from excess funds from fiscal year 24 from the homeschool assistance program, professional development, and teacher leadership supplement. It has been certified that the statutory requirement for the homeschool assistance program, professional development, and teacher leadership supplement have been met, and an approved copy of this board resolution submitted to the Iowa Department of Education. Now therefore be resolved by the board, passed and approved the 11th day of November 2024.
Make a motion to approve the flexibility account resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. SBRC application for administrative costs for the
Lead Center.
Lead Center Consortium for 25-26. I move that the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District approve the application to the School Budget Review Committee in the amount of $5,200.30 and $53,230 for special ed administrative costs associated with Lead Center Consortium program for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Gary, you can't read the recommendation next time.
What?
One of us has to read the recommendation
Okay.
the next time, because you're
You
leading
want to
it.
read the next one?
Sure.
There you go.
I move that the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District approve the application to the School Budget Review Committee in the amount of $6,688.74 for special education administrative costs associated with River Hills Center Consortium program for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I make a motion that the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District approve the application to the School Budget Review Committee in the amount of $117,729.35 for excessive English learner costs for the year ending at June 30, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
I make a motion for the SBRC request for allowable growth for special education deficit in the amount of $630,852.43.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Did you do this one?
Yep.
Let's read this.
They don't have to read
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Each say,
The core knowledge language arts curriculum purchase, the amount is $153,204. We have a motion for that.
Make a motion to approve the core knowledge language arts curriculum purchase as listed here.
A second. This is something that Jen, particularly Dr. Schilling. Yeah. Second.
got a nice little detail here that Brian and Renee implemented, so we're, Jen hung out, we're good to go, Jen. We enjoyed your company.
Well, it was good to see you all. It was a 6-year,
Did you want to give a quick rundown?
no.
That way, I'll-
Motion to,
motion's there.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The policy reviews,
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the policy as presented.
A second.
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes. Do you have any board comments?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? At 6:16.